Welcome to Twin Star, the show where cosmic wisdom meets everyday magic.
We're called twin stars because destiny gave us Scorpio rising at the same degree, two souls marked by identical ascendants, the most personal point in the chart.
I'm Josie, astrologer, artist, and Chakric pagan.
I'm Jamie, astrologer, hypnotist, Akashic record reader, and the mystical CEO behind the House of Mage.
We created this podcast to guide you, our fellow starlings, through astrology, energy, and the unseen forces shaping your life. When starlings come together, we shine brighter, activating our light through connection, instinct, and shared magic.
Close your eyes if you can. Breathe into the center of your chest. Feel the veil around you thinning. The first quarter moon calls for you to act, to choose, to cross the thresholds. And at Samhain, the doorways open, ancestors near, and spirits whisper, and the unseen remembered. May you walk forward with protection, with reverence, and with courage. Let's begin.
Let's begin. The veil is thin on this road to Samhain right now as we get into the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that you've mentioned throughout this podcast is how like everything is like baked into it. There's like some end and beginning with kind of a lot of the different points.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are like more pronounced than others. But I love how you can't have one without the other.
No,
I
they
like
go
that.
together.
And with this episode, the veil thin, the waxing moon, and the road to Samhain, in honor of this episode, is the first quarter moon, which is going to be happening October 29th. And this is the seasonal portal of Samhain. So a spoke on the pagan wheel, and that's happening on the 31st. And then, of course, we also have Dia de los Muertos, which is happening on November 1st and 2nd.
So then this first quarter moon asks us to act with intention as Samhain opens the gates of remembrance, protection, and ancestral connection.
I love the ancestral connection. It's been something that I've been working on for the past, I'd say past decade, really getting into it more. And I really got inspired to get more connected with my ancestry because when I was doing energetic healings and feeling people, their grounding cords were really small. And it was like, we live in the US. We don't necessarily have the greatest history about us. We don't always feel very connected with our past. And my grounding cord was like super tiny, where I was just like not pulling that information from the ancestors. And it was so cool because a couple months ago, I did a hypnosis session, and I was like activated and connected to all the women that got me here. So just like that matriarchal line. And I felt like you couldn't fit more women in that room. Like there were so many. And I was just like,
I got the
God,
chills.
I've come so far. Like it used to be like so limited. Like I was trickled, but it was just like so many people had to live and for me to be here and to get connected to them. It's really amazing. So I really love this time of year to be able to honor the ancestors. And
So cool.
there is like this magical phrase that like if you don't accept your ancestors, what you'll get is ghosts. So it's a good idea to connect with those ancestors.
Oh, wow. I love that.
The last thing we need is to be haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. I have like history in my mom's side of the family that's really hard to swallow. And I was listening to some other podcasters talk about how you sometimes have to connect. It's a difficult connection with ancestral work because it's stuff that, if there's people who have done harm in your ancestral line, it's really kind of scary to confront it, but you got to, because if you don't connect with them and find the messages that you need, they will haunt you essentially. And same as
Well,
looking at your like darker side of yourself.
yeah. And I think that like part of us like being incarnated is that you can process energy really, really quickly. Like
Mm.
when you are not embodied, I think that there is still an evolution process, but it's just like much, much slower. So when you can connect with those family members and you can give love and reverence and understanding, because people are always just trying to do the best they can and they get put in
Mhm.
situations where it's dire and their morality gets compromised. But when you can feel that, heal that as a human being in the body, you can really transform that energy so fast. So you can actually heal them. So, even though it is really like hard to understand or like hold their deeds, um, yeah, you can actually be like that saving grace that actually helps heal them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's as it's like a spiritual accountability kind of thing that I really
Totally.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Um, Cool.
Yeah, ancestors are cool.
Yeah, very nice indeed. What is going on with this astrology of the first quarter moon that we've laid out here?
With first quarter moon energy, there's action initiation, and we don't always have the most clarity of exactly what we want to bring to fruition. So you have to
Mhm.
have that courage to move forward, to initiate the energy so that it can spark new things. I just keep calling to come back to like Aries because Aries is such a great example of having the courage to spark the astrological wheel to move into an existence that it knows nothing about. But like this first or quarter moon energy is very similar in that not there is no plan necessarily laid out, but you have the courage to show up. And I think that that is one of like the most beautiful lessons of life and can get you through a lot of tough situations is like you just got to show up.
Absolutely. That's really in line with the concept too of the moon quarter, or the moon phase is very Aries when it's in the first quarter, because Aries is like on the wheel of the year, the first quarter of our journey to summer from dead of winter. And
Mhm.
so the Aries uh season and the Aries cycle and phase is the same as the first quarter moon phase anyways. Like it's physically they're the same, which is why I think that's so much a part of first quarter moon energy, is like you just get up and you do it and you go. It's the morning and you don't really want to think too hard when you get up. You want to do the things that you need to get activated and get going and not worry about what the day holds later on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because that initiation energy is also meeting like a cycle kind of ending to some extent.
Hmm.
Because on the pagan wheel, we're at a time where we are moving into the darkness. Like
Hmm.
we have our past harvest, everything has essentially kind of died. And now we're moving into that hibernation space. We're in that like decay space.
Yes.
And the darkness is taking over.
Yep. And another one of those never ending dichotomies and oppositional energies.
Yeah, it really is.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I feel like I want to talk about like our vibe check weaving into this
Yes.
because, it comes with a heavy heart, but I've came to Josie and I was just like, I was not being able to hold the vessel of twin stars in my aura as much as I was. And moving forward, I was just like, I just can't hold this. And so it's like, it's really like all of the astrology always works out perfect because it's like I'm having that kind of initial courage to move forward. I don't necessarily know what the next steps are, but I do know that there is an end and there is a phase that's happening where things could not continue the way that they were.
Mhm.
So it's always in line. It's always in line.
It's always in line, unbelievably, and I can't say how it was, like, the most bittersweet news, and my vibe check is I feel this I'm, like, honoring this, like, season of, uh, a sense of loss, the end of a thing, but it's for me, it's been the end of so many things this year, and it feels just like the cherry on top, for learning about, um, letting go and making room for the next step, and also every time something I was doing or had because I moved and changed jobs and reviewed my marriage, everything was under the microscope and lots of things did come to an end. Just where I had been living for 8 years, I'm not living there anymore. And now this is sort of like the last thing where I was like, why do these things keep ending and changing? It's because I keep getting more and more intentional about what I want my life to look like. And I feel lucky enough that like fate has taken things from me so that I have this space in my life, but the most important thing was that I hold the space in myself and I keep on going back and to things that are not really aligned with what I want whenever I get these endings and closures, and then I'm just back to where I was before and not really doing the thing that I want to be doing. And this time has been a year of like every time something ends, I don't just go back to, I mean, mainly like the hospitality industry. I'm reshaping my relationship with that and being of service to others in general. I've gone from like a lot of nonprofit work and even a lot of volunteering in the past to just knowing that there's a time now for me to really take control of my own things and do my own things, and I'm so inclined to like partner up with people and follow their lead, but that's like a part of me that isn't actually really where I'm supposed to be at anymore. So here it is, and here it comes, and here I go. And so it's like I'm not feeling the excitement yet because I really want to just sit in this void space, this darkness, and this liminal area between the end of October and mid-December. It's just such a it's just so expansive in its singularity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does make sense. And it's like kind of that germination energy, like
Mhm,
when you've planted the seeds and they haven't really come up yet and you just need that time to sit.
mhm.
I think in alchemy they have like some really cool terms for it. I don't know my alchemy that well, but like I feel like there's like that brewing stage before
Yeah,
it starts to like percolate and
yeah.
it's very in that in
And
line
seeds
with that.
themselves right now won't even be germinating. They're literally going to bed until the spring. And so it's like they are between life and death. Because when the seeds drop out of the plant that was up, the plant that was up dies, right? Like a sunflower, all the seeds drop out, and then the sunflower, that particular sunflower ceases to exist. And the seeds just hang out in the ground in darkness and cold, doing nothing. And that's what's happening like for nature right now.
And with us.
Yeah, and with us. And I'm like so looking forward. This November, I'm gonna do a lot of nothing. I have plans, but they're very they're very there's no structure beside whatever I create in November, and I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my God, my life is like such a opposite where I'm like, there is too much structure. There's too many like, gotta be here, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this. I really like to pack a schedule.
Mm.
Like this girl needs to I'm proving something to someone, I guess.
Well, I definitely have like an addiction to overpacking my schedule. So again, it's like the universe has handed me this and I've intentionally chosen not to do my usual MO in response, which is like completely, I mean, I did in October. I lost my job in September, and before October hit, my schedule was completely packed. But I was like, okay, remember, we're learning lessons. And so the result was then to like be like, nothing's happening in November. I'm going on a road trip, and that is it. That's all that has to happen in November.
Nice. It's very restorative.
I might print some business cards.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, that was quite a vibe check.
Yeah, it definitely is. During this time of year, there's so much going on. Like with Dia de los Muertos, with Samhain, with the chakras, how it's going into another one that we are going to discuss. And let's help us like kind of tease some of these details out so we can kind of like parcel up all the info.
Yeah. I feel like the thinning veil is a really universal concept that you see in some of the um seasonal celebrations that you've already mentioned. And the Celtic Samhain is a very interesting time, and it almost feels like more superstitious throughout all the different cultures that I've read about regarding this time of year. It's like a more superstitious time of year. It's more about protection, and there's a lot of fear that's being confronted, interestingly. And you can see that in Samhain in the Celtic traditions, which is they were getting ready for a darkness, and they were believed that the spirits were close and that we had to protect ourselves from the spirits at this time of year. And we wanted to invite in the ones that were helpful and ward off the ones that were not. And so things like dressing up in costume and then even jack-o'-lanterns go way back in Celtic traditions. So what they had, let's talk about the Celtic traditions of Samhain. The jack-o'-lantern was a turnip that they would hollow out and carve a face on, because they didn't have pumpkins yet. Pumpkins were in the Americas. And they would take these turnips, and they were scary looking, and they would light them up with a piece of coal or a little like candle nub and put them in the windows to attract the good spirits and ward off the malicious ones. Maleficent. You know what I'm saying. They would put the turnip in their window to either attract good spirits or ward off not so good spirits. And that was also a part of this like ending one fire and beginning a new one. Everyone would put their fires out in their house, and they would all gather together for a bonfire. And that in that situation, they would all put a little coal from the bonfire into their jack-o'-lanterns, and they would light their way home with their little turnip jack-o'-lantern. And then so it was like a multi-purpose talisman, really, the jack-o'-lantern, and it was all about protection the whole time. They also, the costume thing was like disguising yourself from the bad spirits and also welcoming the ones that you wanted to welcome. And it all went from there and got very I mean, it sounds the same as what we do today, but I think you convolute it over the years, and Christianity was at odds with some of these concepts, and so we ended up with like All Saints Day to sort of take the focus onto more Christian ideals. But once you come to Dia de los Muertos, you see this pattern happening again over centuries in Central America, and then on up into becoming like a holiday of Mexican Americans. Dia de los Muertos, though, is around the same themes of, and it's ancestral work. It's a lot of ancestral stuff with Dia de los Muertos. It's a gathering where you honor those you've lost with an altar, and you dine with them, offer them food. The altar is called an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos, and they are wearing masks and costumes to commune with the dead. And so this concept of the thinning veil is just like interwoven in all of it over and over and over again. And it's an archetypal concept that does seem pretty universal for us throughout history.
What I really like too is, having this rippling theme throughout different locations where the veils are thinning. I really like that this is happening during Scorpio season,
Mm,
because Scorpio is all about transformation. It's about having the essence be in one, start in one place, and then we're transforming into like the other part that's maybe a little bit darker. There's more decay. It's more about going deep within things.
mm.
And I really love that connection with the spirits that are no longer on this plane. So having a physical person interacting with a spirit on the spiritual plane and having that connection, it's to me, it's so very Scorpio. It's kind of like what they live for in kind of like that spooky realm. So to me, it's just like, oh, of course this happens during this time of year.
Absolutely.
Scorpios, they're so weird.
For real though. I feel like also fixed water is just like such a symbol of the underworld.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think of like the Scorpio as that like fixed water of like you don't know what's underneath the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in terms of our planet, like things that are underwater, we don't have very much of an understanding of what's
Right.
under there.
No, we
So
don't.
it's like kind of hints to the subconscious, which is also really crazy because the subconscious controls so much of our lives. And yeah, it's just kind of fascinating how this is the time to like really commune with that darker part of yourself,
Mm.
because it's ruling so much of our lives, whether we pay attention to it or not.
It's permeating that energy. And it, of course, I think of what I had going on in the chakra system correlation, because of course I've already established how it reminds me of the chakra system. But for this situation, I've spent the past 5 or 6 months talking about um each chakra, and in the chakra system it's 1 through 7. um I start this wheel on Yule with chakra 1 aligning with the concepts and energies of the Yule season, and by this time we're at Samhain, which is right before Yule. This is the 8th Sabbath. And so there's no actual chakra correlation. So I'm going to give you a little reading again from my favorite book about the chakras, Wheels of Life, A User's Guide to the Chakra System. And she introduces the book with this energy that I correlate with this 8th phase of energy. This 8th Sabbath, which is Samhain. And for a lot of witches, Samhain is the beginning of the year, which really, to me, also sums up how it's like they're the beginning that's no beginning and never ending, basically. It's a circle within a circle, no beginning, never ending. Because the 8th energy is the energy that connects the 7th and the 1st. And it's the energy that connects all of them like a bridge. And what my dear Anodea Judith has to say about it is this. From the great spiral galaxies, thousands of light years across, to the trillions of atoms swirling in a grain of sand, the universe is composed of spinning wheels of energy, flowers, tree trunks, planets, and people. Each is made of tiny wheels turning inside, riding upon the great wheel of the earth, spinning its orbit through space. At the inner core of each one of us spin 7 wheel-like energy centers called chakras, swirling intersections of vital life forces. Chakras are organizing centers for the reception, assimilation, and transmission of life energies. As 7 vibratory modalities, the chakras form a mythical rainbow bridge, a connecting channel linking heaven and earth, mind and body, spirit and matter, past and future. So I just love it. Like, it really does make sense when you think about what we've already said so far. And I feel like every time I go back through it, I realize more deeply how the concepts that were created in one part of the world are so similar to the concepts throughout when it comes to energies and even spirituality. There's like so many common threads in so many different spiritual beliefs.
Yeah, something that kind of confuses me with the chakric pagan part is, so like when we do honor, so I understand like the chakra and how we're going to be honoring this. Is it more for like that day that you, or like, are we going to be highlighting that chakra for that full season until it comes to the next spoke? And then, like, what kind of practices do you do on a regular basis to actually honor it? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So I do the whole season for sure. So from October 31st until December 22nd, I'm honoring that liminal space and that that bridging energy. And I do it a lot by what color I choose to wear. That's kind of how I do it on a more daily basis. So I actually like wear black for this period of time. And then around mid-December, I'll start wearing red, or I'll start incorporating browns and reds in beginning of December. And then around the holidays, I'm like really into red because that's the first chakra color. And
Mhm.
I continue to do that. And I like change my colors into like oranges and pinks. And then I wear yellows in the spring and greens in the early summer, blue, indigo. I've become very obsessed with this particular ritual. Not to say that it's like anything anybody should do. However, it is something easy and it's very like visually satisfying. And so I think it's a good one for people who just want to feel the energy of what's going on, and maybe don't want to like do anything really structured or on a specific day. But the thing I'm going to do now is I'll design my rituals and my daily practices around this kind of thing of like feeling the energy and connecting. our grounding today was like really perfect for me. I kind of got into that feeling of where you're like floating and you are space and
Mhm.
space is you. And that's the kind of meditating I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to do some burying rituals and some burning rituals. Those are really important ones for me at this time of year. And I'll change those as I go forward. And I do like a lot more water-based rituals in February. That's like a time for me to really focus on water-based rituals. But it's always like elemental. I incorporate elements throughout the year, all of them. But I try to like focus elementally on the chakra that I have aligned to the Sabbath. And I just try to do that for like literally 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I like to revisit like because also I'm someone who wants to process things over and over again in my brain. So that's kind of why I'm not just like, oh, it's just one day. I really want to feel like I've investigated the energy by the time I feel like the next one begins.
Yeah. And since, I've gone on this journey with you, I've definitely tried to incorporate more of the chakric part of it. And where it's just been challenging for me because I just really go into my energy on such a regular basis and honor like all the chakras and clear them all out and give balance them and do all the things that I've had a really hard time like honing in on one. So having
Oh,
the practices of like the wearing the clothing and like having more of your rituals kind of be around that makes more sense to me
mm.
because energetically it was like, well, I can't just stop there. I gotta get all these. Like
And
we
yeah,
gotta
I mean, if you get into chakra hygiene, you want to be doing working with all of them all the time. It's sort of like the balancing is the hygiene of the chakra system. You do want to focus on each one and incorporate them all together in meditation. But for these purposes, it's just the one. And but I like to get deep into something. And then before I switch, like I can't do a tarot card a day. I need to think about a tarot card for at least a week
It's cute.
minimum.
Oh, I like it.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for explaining more of like what the practices are kind of regarding all of them.
Yeah,
Because that practical magic really helps ground the experience of it.
right.
Because my practical magic is like much more galactic energy. Like I like to clean out my aura on a very regular basis. But I really love this idea of the chakra system and the pagan wheel, the sabbats overlaying one another. So, I like trying on new methods for size and grounding it within the practical magic, I think is really like helped me kind of solidify the experience more.
Cool. Yeah, I think that practical magic is well, I guess I just love our practical magic because we are coming from two very different perspectives. And like you said, you're like in the galactic space a lot. And I'm really not my practical magic is almost all of my magic because I'm doing it when I'm cooking and I'm doing it when I'm like cleaning something and I'm doing it when I'm making art. And so to me, those are the rituals. And I use color so much to connect in that way because I think I'm just like a real material, plain individual.
Visual too.
And visual, yeah. And you are psychic more.
Weird. Well, it was really cool. Like when I was acting out in high school, my mom put me into meditation classes, and that just sent me like on a trajectory that I was never going to imagine that I went on because one
Mm,
of the first things that we did in this meditation class was that I was guided to a past life regression, and it was like the most real experience. And from there, I just got obsessed and I attended mediumship classes and one of my favorite phrases is that energy is easy, because energy is easy. Everyone can engage in it, and we just don't always know how, but
Oh,
we're working in it all the time. Like, it's something that should be more normalized. I think that we're all like utilizing it a lot as we're younger, and we get kind of just like more material and solidified as we get older. And um, in some ways, I feel like that energetic world is more real than this one. Really, that's not true. I mean, they're both very, they both have their own place,
the
but
sensation though is as if, I mean, I think it's this connection that you have to it. So it is almost more real for you because you are so deeply connected to it, which is cool.
yeah, but I would argue that you are too. You know,
Yeah.
like the things that
We're
that
just
call
entering through
you,
the
yeah.
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's just interesting because it's just like the dreams that we have, the intuitions that we have, the little like nudges to do this and that. It's um it's guiding all of us all the time.
Yeah.
And we just get kind of distracted. And I am just like consciously engaging in that and quieting myself enough so that that energy world becomes louder.
Yeah. I think quieting myself is very hard for me, and I use activity and like material items, sounds, colors to distract me into like to it's like you have to distract this part of your brain over here. I'm one of those people who has to like do something over here to get my brain to like open up and not get all and not be just obsessed with my own ideas. To open up
But
mentally and psychically, I kind of need physical routines.
but that works too. Like
Mhm.
that's like, and there's so many different inception points of like, how do you open the door? And that is also doing like having intention of any kind that opens the door.
Yeah.
Lighting a match opens the door. Like it's all there.
I love
And like one of the things that you're always saying is like that primordial soup. Like we're always, all of us are in it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. We are in it. We come, sometimes we're entering through different doors. Like you have these
Mhm.
doors that you walk through, and then I have those doors over there that I like to walk in and out of.
But it's all like affecting the field
Mhm.
and, our vibration, our frequency. I love how I heard recently that our frequency is what we frequently see. And it really is, because it's just like it comes from
Oh,
within us. And in this holographic reality, it makes the world around us material.
oh, I like that a lot.
Isn't that good?
Yeah,
So true.
that's awesome. Okay, I'm keeping that. Um, I want to think if I had any other things I wanted to talk about with practical magic. Personally, oh, just I want to say like protection is super key right now. This is like totally the time of year to do protection spells. And I like the idea of using black and white. I actually have a black candle and a white candle over here right now, and then I have a black rock and a white rock, and then I have the black and white card, one of these cards from Wild Unknown. This is just a different. This isn't our card today, but I'm going into the black and white concept right now a lot too, because that's like good for protection in general.
One of the things that I love to do for protection um, is call in archangels. So this is like
Mm.
before Catholicism. I think it goes back to like Sumeria when this practice actually came to be. But I will ask for like Raphael to be before me, Gabriel behind me, Michael to the right of me, and Uriel to the left of me. And in setting that quadrant, like those It's so, so, so ancient. You don't have to be like super connected. You can be, you don't have to be, but by just saying that, it puts such a protective grid around you. And then, I mean, who's going to protect you better than archangels? Like, there's literally nobody.
Nobody.
So,
They are the
yeah, it's a
ultimate
good one.
protection, aren't they? That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. But I'm obsessed with protection, so I do a million things. um, but that's like probably the easiest. Like, I even will tell my brother, I'll be like, hey, Kurt, you got to get out there. You got to like put Raphael before you, Gabriel behind you, my Michael to the right of you, and Uriel to the left of you.
I feel like I really want to like hear more about your all of this stuff that you do work with, because of how it's so different from what I've never looked into a bunch of the stuff that you do, specifically around like connecting psychically with energy and spirit and uh ancestors and all of that.
And I find it really fascinating that I've never gotten that deep into paganism really,
Mhm.
or like I've never thought of chakras in this way too. So it's like there's very like a lot of discovery on both sides.
Yes, love
Um,
that.
yeah. And we're just like witchy in different ways, you know?
Yeah, I do know. For the It's that twinning thing where it's like, you know, we've got even contrasting colors today that really
Yeah,
drive home the twinning, but like of a different shade.
very much so. Yeah.
Mhm.
So with the chakras, your chakra alignment for the season. So the 0 point void, is that happening like the eighth? Hello, plant. Is that happening like in this space? I like to call that one the soul star chakra, or is it happening below our root chakra, which I like to call the earth soul star chakra?
Definitely both. It's like that bending over and circling back around. And it's also that well, there's just so many ways to correlate that energy from here going back down, because that's how the chakra system is seen, is that when you reach the top, the only place to go is back to the beginning. And so when you're doing chakra cleansing and balancing, you kind of keep that spiral energy going as you work through it. But the seed is in the crown when the sunflower is evolved to its most highest reaching state. And all it does is reach up to the sun all summer to just bend over again and return all of the heavenly energy that it has received all summer back to earth. And then those seeds, they sit in that womb of the earth. And that's like the void space is the womb, is the void space is death and is the birth. It's both, because it's the womb and it's the space beyond.
Wow, cool.
So it's really
Huh.
like you going back to connecting from one plane to another. You're going back to connecting from the spirit in this world to the spirits in the other world. Well, a great example of that would be this Samhain void space ritual that we have, which would be you sit between two candles, a black and a white, and then you visualize the veil opening with your eyes closed. And your soul star is above you, and your earth star is below you. You speak names of your ancestors and invite them with love and respect to join you. So you're kind of beginning with opening up the gate by visualizing the opening, and then letting the soul star and the earth star connect through that opening, and then speaking the names of your ancestors. And you would leave offerings of food and drink and flame, anything really. If you have other offerings, of course, put them there. Dia de los Muertos is big on bringing the favorite foods and beverages of their loved ones who have passed to their ofrendas during Dia de los Muertos.
And the Celts during Samhain would also do the same things. And it was funny because it's like if God forbid you were hungry and you took a nibbling of the offering, it was going to mean that you were like a hungry ghost once you died. Like you would never be able to like be satiated. And it's like really a huge bounty that like your family members are going to be providing for you even in the afterlife. So I just think that's really funny that like you could be a forever hungry ghost.
You gotta leave it for the ancestors or you will never escape. It's like eating the pomegranate seeds. You're never gonna escape now.
All it takes is a nibble.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so as we are in this like dualistic light, in that we have the waxing light, so light that is get growing, and we have sacred darkness,
Mhm.
that combination of the moon asking us to initiate, to have some sort of action. But the Samhain is the mark of descent and endings and silence and ancestral time. Uh, Being able to just sit in that, probably having some journal prompts and free writing regarding all of that. I think that, like, for us, it couldn't be more potent in that we're starting a new beginning. We don't know what that is, both of
Mhm.
us, but that something is also ending for both of us. So it's just like right on cue, but also just for us to like write and get a lot of those feelings out. I think that's going to really just help us so much during this time.
Mm, absolutely. I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time, like, just writing at writing in that sort of, what do they call it again? When it's like you're just letting your brain fall out on the paper?
Automatic writing
Yes.
is that.
I'm looking forward to doing some automatic writing in my blank space November that I have coming up here.
So a little, I guess this could be a practical magic thing, but what you can do with automatic writing, there's like a couple different forms that you can do, where
Mhm.
one of them is just like a brain dump where you just write whatever. And then another, you can get your pen on paper and you can ask for spirit to speak through you. And you can just kind of like really lazily hold your pen and just kind of move and let things kind of flow. And sometimes things really will come through you.
Mm,
So that could be a
cool.
kind of fun and interesting thing at this time with
I
the
don't
veil
think
being thin.
I've always done the first that you mentioned, and I've never done that second one. I've got to try that for sure.
Yeah, the veils are thin. It's a good time.
The veils are thin. The time is now.
The time is for oracles.
The
Oracle
time.
reading, please.
Oracle card of the moment. Let's me give a little shuffle. Pulling an oracle card for our oracle moment from the Kim Kranz Wild Unknown Alchemy deck that we've been pulling from for our podcasts for each episode. A card from the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck. So today we've got Sparks of Light.
Ooh, beautiful.
Pretty. I like how simple it is compared to most of the ones we've seen have been all kinds of really cool stuff going on, but this one is a lot less busy, which is, and I mean just the void space, just I'm seeing that so much in the sparks of light.
Yeah, and there's just this big yellow diamond that has like almost glitter like blasting off of it of
Yeah.
yellow. And it gives me the vibe of like our future so bright we have to wear shades. you know?
Ooh, yes. Oh, that's fun. Okay, I'm gonna see what Kim says. We're at 66. Scintille is the Latin term, sparks of light, hope, sensation, exhilaration. The scintille card arrives just in the nick of time, leaving a trail of celestial light to guide the way. Follow these flickers as if they are chemical clues guiding you to an illuminated state. When this card appears, it's likely there has been a lull or void of direction in the laboratory. Some may even say the lights have been turned off. But in the deep void of darkness, a messenger of hope arrives, flickering and shimmering with enthusiasm. You might feel the scintille as a childlike giddiness, the presence of magic, a vision in a dream, or a simple readiness to wake up from a long slumber. Follow the physical body. Follow the tingling sensations of aliveness within you, and you will not be led astray. Vitality, clarity, and inspiration are within your reach. You are alive. You are a vital being. Appreciate this moment. One spark leads to the next. And to ponder the firework yet to be lit, which is like the seed yet to be germinated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was all very like first quarter moon energy of just have the courage to ignite, to move the body, to go, and that the path will become more clear as you go. And it's like a yellow brick road written in magic.
It is. Oh, cool. That was very hopeful.
Yeah, I love it.
And very hopeful for the specific time of year, because they touched on voidness and darkness so many times in that description.
Yeah, it was perfect. Of course.
Of course.
I would expect nothing less.
Exactly. With that card, I just really want to reiterate the message that the dead walk with you in love and not in fear. Thanks for circling with us on the road to Samhain. If this episode inspired you to honor your ancestors or set protections for the dark half of the year,
share the magic, leave a review, follow the show, and invite others to our celestial circle.
check out the Grimoire Companion linked in the show notes, and also a Spotify playlist for the Day of the Dead.
I'm Jamie, and you can find me at the House of Mage.
And I'm at Basic Witch.
Samhain marks the end of one cycle and the quiet beginning of another, a time to honor what has been and let mystery take the reins.
As this season invites stillness and reflection, Twin Stars will also take a rest for a while. We don't know yet what shape it may take next, but we trust the path will reveal itself in divine timing. Until then, may your magic stay bright and your heart stay open to the unseen.
Bye. And so it is.
And so it is.